as Jonathan Hernandez comes out and takes the lead. Oh, we got lots of stuff going on here. Oh my god, there is death everywhere. Everyone got tight and have just gone up and slammed the wall. Boomerang shoes in that one, Jordan Lee. A lot of people just getting very tight there on the corner exit. It'd be almost easier to tell you who was not involved. I can see Jonathan Hernandez still on track, Clayton Ward, Ryan Pizzakemi, and Cosman. I'm going to have to talk to Cosman about how to pronounce his last name there, because I have no idea how to pronounce that. That's the driver of the 48 car, who I believe is just coming to... Oh! He's just punted himself into the end of...
Back and forth like that. And a couple times I got on the inside there on the front stretch, and
Shut up!
You know, I could have pushed it a little wider, but
little bit of a surprise, but he gained 12 positions. Started down in some bumhole position. Hello everyone and welcome to the Sonoma Raceway for the Autism Awareness 70, the start of the playoffs here for the Output Racing League in Season 1 2023. And this is the old cup layout, which has become the current cup layout once more. So no more carousel. We go straight through turn 5 and down to turn 6 in the old traditional way. Let's get our eyes down on the track as Kyle Kraus spies his engine. Looks like for the most part people are just coming out of the pit, so we might get a pit party here shortly. Austin Collins, he's currently P1. I've been having some issues with my my headset lately. And why can I hear the scraping of... That's why I can hear the scraping of metal on road. Alright, looks like the boys are setting up for a pit party here, using the short chute as their go point. But Austin Collins, as I was saying just before, leading the way with a 1:16.576. He's got just about a tenth and a half over Thomas Harmon for 1:16.648. Actually, no, just a tenth. I'm an idiot. I haven't been awake long. Kyle Kraus with a 1:16.803 for third. James Watson a 1:16.911 for fourth. Chris Champeau the 1:17.278 for fifth. But here we go now as the guys are lining up, coming into the final hairpin. In fact, yeah, there's only 2 hairpins on the track now. And here they go. There's Kyle Kraus and James Watson on the front row. It looks like Kraus had the advantage. See if he keeps it or not. Looks like he does. We're currently focused on the 13, Travis Massier in the background. There you saw 38, Thomas Harmon, diving up on the inside of Frank Isaacson. Austin Collins, he's currently the pace setter, using the Team Watson Racing Setups livery, as Massier and Hernandez have had it coming together, and Hernandez definitely caught the raw end of that stick. There's Isaacson and Pizzacchemi having a drama. Panjakuff and Marquez caught up in this one as well. James Watson on track. Chris Champeau. And around goes James Watson. Left-handers are tricky around here. The way that the car is set up, it's almost as if the left-handers are not where it's at. You know, these cars, effectively speaking, are designed to turn left. Chris Champo just making his way into the final series of corners. Turn 11, the hairpin. I can see a very slow 64 at 8A. He's just parked there. Excellent. This is the front of the pit party here. And Kyle Krass has made a meal of it. Going off at turn 4. Oh, a lot of curb there for Champo. He's gone around. And he appeases the tyre gods by ripping a mad skid. So unofficially, Austin Collins wins the pit party, being the last survivor. Mark Pentecoff on screen, he just made a mistake in the second corner. He's currently sitting in 12th with a 1:21.6. Just about 5 seconds slower than Austin Collins. Speaking of, he just made a mistake in the hairpin. Jonas Marquez, he's just coming through turn 10. Same too for Thomas Harmon. They make their way up to the turn 11 hairpin. Marquez, who is 11th. Harmon, who is 2nd. Marquez just starting a run. But he didn't get a lap time for that one, because it was his out lap. And actually, same too for Harmon. Let's see what both of them can do here. Oh, Harmon with the big dive. Time is running out very quickly for these drivers. Just over 5 minutes left in the session. Someone's engine expired. I don't know where they were though. Marquez runs wide in turn 11. Marquez put in a 21.3 and makes a mistake in turn 2. There's Pentecoff, he is working the outside of Austin Collins there. Just behind them is Thomas Harmon. Oh, Thomas squeezes his way up the inside of Pentecoff there through turn 9. Very gracious calling that just one corner there. It says quite clearly 2 apexes and a straight. That's another small straight. But each to their own. Harmon this time didn't get to see what time he put in. But I don't think it was up there with his best. He did a 26.7. Oof. The consistency is going to be key around here. If you can hold a nice, consistent, quickish pace, should be looking pretty good. Andrew Griesbaum on screen. Currently P9 with a 118 and 199. Last lap was an 18.5. There you go. That's consistency. He gets around Mark Pentecost. Arena sponsorship on the Griesbaum car. Oh. One mistake for Mark Pentecost, and it ended in him being in the wall on the entry to the hairpin. Just trying to take the IndyCar layout. Oh, the 13, Travis Massia. He's gone off at turn 2. As time is ticking down, only 2 minutes left. These guys realistically only have one more chance to get a time in. And that's provided that they just started a lap, not that they just come out of the pits. Thomas Harmon last lap by did a 17.3. That was, what, 8/10 slower than his fastest. Here comes Chris Champeau and Austin Collins, sorry. Oh, and Austin's made a mistake. And he rolls on the tyre barrier on the inside of turn 2. But we are now going to go for a commercial break. And when we come back, we will have the results of qualifying. Just bear in mind, this will be a longer commercial break than we usually have because road course. So stay tuned, go and get yourself a drink, go to the toilet, grab something to eat, and we'll see you guys on the other side of this ad break. Alrighty, welcome back to the Autism Awareness 70 here from the Sonoma Raceway. Race number 1 in the chase for the championship. And on the pole is going to be the 92 of Chris Champeau. On his outside will be the 7 of Carl Kraus. P3 will be the 38 of Thomas Harmon, with P4 the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. P5 is a 39 of James Watson, with P6 the 68 of Andrew Griesbaum. P7 will be the 24 Frank Isaacson, and P8 the 13 of Travis Massier. P9 is the 98 of Austin Collins, with P10 the 64 of Jonas Marquez. P11 is the 78 of Brian Pizzicami, and P12 is going to be the 5 of Mark Entercuff. So those are the 12 combatants we have for tonight's racing action. Just waiting for everyone to get on the grid. Race car starting to roll away now. Got the short parade lap here to start off this race, so that way the drivers aren't forced to go through a whole lap of this man-made hell. And here we go, the pace car going to make that slight left-hand turn into the pit lane. Side by side, our leaders go. And we are green.
Green flag.
Off and racing here for the Autism Awareness 70 at Sonoma Raceway for the first race in the chase for the playoffs here for the Output Racing League. Everyone has managed to get through turns 1 and 2 seemingly okay. Get the camera to focus on crashes just in case, because we're not going to get cautions here like we would at an oval track. Everyone very aggressively using that curve on the outside of turn 5 as we go into turn number 6. Everyone's still managing to keep their cars about them. There's 35 laps here of the Sonoma circuit, which means that it's a possibility that we might not see pit stops. The first lap in the books. And Chris Champeau still leading the way. Jonathan Hernandez has gone up 1 position from his starting position. Zone 2 for Frank Isaacson, up in P6. Wondering who is in the chase for the championship. As we see the 13 having a little bit of issues. That's Travis Massier in turns 3 and 4. It's Thomas Harmon, TJ Cranton, who is not here. Chris Champeau, Kyle Kraus, Brian Pizzicami, Jonathan Hernandez, James Watson, Travis Massier, Corey Cook, and Frank Isaacson. Corey Cook is not here either. But everyone else in the chase is. So 8 out of our top 10 drivers are in the race. Apparently Corey Cook waited until just before the race to install the new update So that's why he's not here. We got no word on where TJ Crampton is. We're watching Thomas Harmon. He's in 4th position. Taking all the runoff he can in turn 5. Trying to defend from James Watson. Oh, just about getting into Jonathan Hernandez. Side by side goes Watson and Harmon. So we go through turn 7. And then into 8 and 8A. And it looks like Harmon has the advantage. Not very often you see 2x2 going through the S's there. Come through turn 10 into the hairpin at turn 11. And it's a lockup from Harmon. Up the inside goes Watson this time. Now Watson up in the 4th. Harmon down to P5. Harmon has lost 2 positions from where he started. Kyle Kraus currently with the fastest lap of the race, a 1:17.076 in 2nd place. And he is not letting Chris Champeau go, as they are going to be battling it out for the lead here. They come through turn 5. A much tighter line there on exit from Kyle Kraus, only using a portion of the exit curb, whereas Champeau used just about all of it. Let's see what they can do as they come through turn number 10 and into the hairpin of 11. And look at the run that Kyle Kraus gets through turn 10. Closes right up on the back of Chris Champeau. Now remember, these guys are in the fight for the championship, and Thomas Harmon has just lost out on a couple more positions. He's all the way down in 8th now. But Isaacson, Griesbaum and Collins all get around him. So big issues here for our regular season champion. He said he hates it here, and you can see why. He is not having the best of races at all. He's still got a battle for second there as well between Hernandez and Watson. And Frank Isaacson in P5. And as it stands right now, Isaacson would actually be the hard charger. And iRacing just crashed on me. Excellent. So we're going to quickly put up a commercial break until we can load back in. Alrighty, it seems like we're back. Yep, we are. We got sound and everything. Geez, that was a bit of a fiasco trying to get back into here. Alright, Andrew Griesbaum, there he is, P6. And just behind him is Austin Collins in the 98 car. I could go wait for Trading Paints to do its thing again and bring us all the relevant paint schemes. P5 for Frank Isaacson, just up ahead of these two. And he is looking pretty damn good. Surprising though, Thomas Harmon's still back there in P8. Just a little bit off from everyone, except for Brian Pizzakemi, who I am assuming is right up his chuff. Yeah, there he is. Let's go and check in on our leaders here real quick. There's a 7 of Kyle Kraus. He's right on the tail of Chris Champeau. And then it's about a second and a half back to James Watson. That made that about 2.5 seconds. Yeah, the accordion effect definitely changes timing quite a bit there. Oh, Champeau got a little bit wide going through turn 2. And that allowed 7 of Kyle Kraus to catch up slightly. Oh, very close with the tyre barrier there was Chris Champeau. And just look at the run that Kyle Kraus is getting here. He's just smooth and consistent right now. Still lapping in the 17-second bracket. Or the 117, I should say. Saying that, so too is Chris Champeau. On board with Kyle Kraus. They go through the hairpin. He is trying to pull all kinds of pressure onto the back of that 92 car. Wish the paints would hurry up and load. Oh, now we've got no paint schemes on any car. Trading Paints needs to do its thing. Oh, looks like we're starting to get some of them in now. We go back to Andrew Griesbaum in P6. He's been just slowly catching up to Frank Isaacson here while holding off Austin Collins. Now, Austin was one of the pace setters in practice, and he didn't get a qualifying lap in. This is why he started from P9. I'm keeping an eye on that battle for the lead. They're just coming through the hairpin now. And just got to keep an eye on them for if they start battling. Right now it's just Kyle sitting on the back of Champeau trying to pressure him into a mistake. Both of them massively picked up the pace from their previous laps too. They both went back down to a 17.3 on that last lap, extending their gap over James Watson slightly. Oh, and here it goes. Here's the move. Up on the inside of the turn 6 hairpin, and Kyle Kraus makes his way into the lead. Now let's see if he can pull away a little bit. Set the camera back to focusing on crashes. We'll go back to this little three-way stoush between Isaacson, Griesbaum, and Collins. See what happens between these drivers. Our leaders too are also starting to catch up to the 5 car of Mark Pentacaf. They're only just a couple of corners behind him. I tell you what, Frank Isaacson's been doing well to hold off these two behind him. We know that Isaacson isn't the fastest of drivers, but when he gets into a groove, he is super consistent. And that's what's showing right now, is his consistency as Griesbaum closes in the gap big time as they came through turn 4 there. And according to my mini map here, Carl Kraus has been pulling away steadily from Chris Champeau. And James Watson has the fastest lap of the race, the first one to dip into the 16s. A 1:16.958. He's trying to chase down Chris Champeau for second. Griesbaum a little bit defensive there in the hairpin at turn 11. Also a little bit of a lock up there from Austin Collins. And Isaacson was just able to pull away from them ever so slightly. We're 15 laps just about into this race. It's lap 15, 14 in the books. Half of lap 15 complete. Oh, and that time, Isaacson, there was a chink in the armor going through turn 5. That was just about all the invitation that Griesbaum needed. Oh, and he definitely trying to pressure Frank into making more mistakes now. You can see that in the way that he aggressively came up towards the inside line on turn 11. Oh, now leaders have caught lap traffic as well. 5 of Mark Pentacaf exit stage left to allow the leaders through. As Jonathan Hernandez has fallen off of this little group, but the battle herein lies with Champeau and Watson. And up the inside of the hairpin, but it was with a big lockup, was James Watson. That allowed Champeau back through. But intent has been signaled. And here we go now through turns 3 and 4. What can James Watson do to try and get around Champeau? We saw very briefly he had the opportunity. Couldn't make anything of it by the looks of things. He closes right up on the back of him, going through that turn 6 hairpin. Here we go through turn 9 now. And to the inside of the hairpin at turn 11 once more. Couldn't quite get there. Lock up from Champo. That was almost half an opportunity for Watson. Just couldn't quite get in there without getting into Champo. And Kyle Kraus says, yes, boys, keep battling, as he is skipping off into the distance. We are approaching lap 18. The move has happened coming out of turn 5 into turn 6. I took my eyes away from my screen for just 2 seconds, and Watson found a way through. Now he's going to try and chase down our leader, Kyle Kraus, who has a massive lead over these guys. We've set the camera back to focus on crashes. We're back on this three-way battle between Isaacson, Griesbaum, and Collins. And Isaacson still the one leading the way as we reach the halfway mark. Griesbaum sizing up the opportunity, probably more so in defense than it is attack, as the 5 of Pentacuff gets right out of the way for them. And Brian Pizzakemi has gone to the pits. Let's see the condition of his car here. Oh, something's happened to Pizzakemi. Let's see what has occurred for the 78 car. We've got to back it up quite a bit by the looks of things. So, battling hard with Harmon. Goes for the inside move here in the hairpin. Harmon facilitated the move. Went right out wide. Hit a tight line. Oh, too tight of a line for the 78 of Pizzakemi. Tire barrier, go boom. We get back in with the live racing action. And it looks like Isaacson starting to pull away here from Griesbaum and Collins. The last lap for Frank was an 18.3 to an 18.5 for Griesbaum. It just seems that Frank, in that first sector of the lap, has a lot more pace than these guys. They closed up right on the back of him in turn 6, and he's starting to pull away again. And let's see, lap time for Frank was an 18.3, no, 17.4. 3/10 that he gained over Griesbaum, who did a 17.7, a 17.8 for Austin.
I'll break early going into the corkscrew.
Whoop. Heard some driver words there. I think what we're going to do here is we're going to go to a quick commercial break. This one will actually be a commercial break this time. So stay tuned. More racing action coming your way very shortly. And we are back here for the Autism Awareness 70 from Sonoma Raceway in California. And I can hear myself, and I don't want to hear myself. Why do I hear myself? There we go, that's fixed. Kyle Kraus still leading away by 3.4 seconds over James Watson. Watson just unable to close this gap down, although he is running a little bit faster than Kyle Kraus on the last lap. 0.4 of a second faster, in fact, as it looks like these guys are probably going to be trading times for a little bit here. Go back to focusing on crashes, and Griesbaum has fallen to the pressure of Collins, who is now all over the back of Frank Isaacson. Griesbaum looks like he's just starting to fall off the pace here a little bit. Just in the background there, Thomas Harmon, he's lurking. Lurking and jerking, he's gherkin. Let's see what kind of a defense Frank Isaacson can put up against Collins. And I'm just hearing through some of the pit reporters, Brian, that Thomas Harmon has bent steering, which is why he fell from grace so rapidly. And here goes Collins now. He's to the inside of Isaacson. And it looks like he's got that move made going through turn 6. Now can Collins chase down Hernandez ahead? Pentacuff is in the pits. What has happened to Pentacuff? Oh, that's what happened to Pentacuff. He got the final hairpin wrong there, and you see obvious severe steering damage. I'm guessing he tried to turn right here and the car didn't. Yep, that's exactly what happened. So that is unfortunate for Mark Pentacuff. Griesbaum trying desperately to catch up to Isaacson now. Austin Collins has already started skipping away from the two of these guys. Thomas Harmon's still lapping pretty good. He's in the 17.8. That's compared to Griesbaum with the 18.8 last lap, so he lost a whole second to Harmon. And someone in Twitch chat just pointed out that at least now Pizzacami has company in the form of Mark Pentacuff. We have now just under 10 laps to go. Our leaders working their way through turns 8 and 8A. And James Watson has put in a 16.6. So the leader's starting to burn the midnight oil, putting the pace out there. As the gap between first and second coming down, it's still a pretty big gap. It's 2.5 seconds as they cross the start-finish line. Oh, Kraft was a tenth better than him. Watson lost 3/10 in the final sector, I'm hearing. He locked up in the hairpin. So this is going to be something we're going to have to keep an eye on as the race continues. I'm just surprised that they're both still in the low 117 bracket. Seems that the tire fall off that was promised is definitely not so much there. Maybe that's something that they're going to fix in a different patch coming up sometime this week. Let's go back to our little battle here. As Griesbaum has fallen off from the back of Isaacson once more, and here comes Thomas Harmon. All right, that was weird. My headphones disconnected. Yay, audio issues. Thomas Harmon catching up to Griesbaum here pretty quickly. And at the same time there, Griesbaum actually caught back up to Isaacson by half a second in that last lap. As I'm watching the gap between our leaders, and it's definitely coming down. So the 39, James Watson, is on a hot one right now. I think what we might do is we're going to go to a very quick commercial break here. And when we come back, can't hear. Oh, let me see if I can fix that real quick. Yeah, I hate this. I really do. Uh, oh, contact! As the cars were coming through turn 6, Travis Massia off the road. Thomas Harmon has gotten around both Isaacson and Griesbaum. You guys can finally hear what's going on again. And we're going to go to a commercial break. I tell you what, if it's no issues at all, then it's not week 13. But stay tuned, more action from the Autism Awareness 70 here at the Sonoma Raceway. We're coming up shortly as we're going to go to the checkered flag. So make sure you guys stay tuned. And welcome back to the Autism Awareness 70 here from the Sonoma Raceway. Kyle Kraus leading the way with just 4.5 laps to go, but it's only a 2-second gap over the 39 of James Watson. You can see him there just looming in the background. And we are keeping tabs on this little battle. They kind of broke even last lap around, actually. Maybe the tyres starting to fall off a little bit for Watson. And by fall off, I mean they're getting a bit warm. Go back to Frank Isaacson, who is still holding off Griesbaum. Isaacson, who has fallen back to where he started in P7. Of course, Isaacson was the second last place driver in qualifications. Griesbaum down 2 from where he started. He started P6. And it looks like Travis Massia has made a trip down pit lane at some point or another and has gone back out onto the track. But yeah, time's definitely not falling off here. Christian Poe in a 92. His last lap was a 1:17.440, which is just 0.2 slower than his fastest lap time. There's Jonathan Hernandez just behind him, trying to look threatening. Hernandez last lap did a 16.649, which was his fastest lap of the race here on lap 31. And you can see he's trying to put all kinds of pressure on Chris Champeau for the 3rd position. And don't forget, Chris Champeau did start on the pole. James Watson just put in a 16.256. Blistering pace here from the 39 car. As the gap visually in my little track map has definitely come down between the two drivers, although it's just extended a bit through turn 5. I think Watson may have just made a mistake there. Oh, a lot of curb there from Champeau. Hernandez using all the track and then some to close in on him. We could see a move here coming into turn 11 this time. Oh, the almost contact through turn 10. That's exactly what Hernandez didn't want, as we've got 2 laps to go in this race. And Pentacuff once more in the pits. We're going to watch this little battle here until the final lap. You see, just little areas where Champo has the advantage. He's got the advantage in the grip zones. You know, the exit of the corners mostly. See what happens through turn 5. Because this is where Hernandez really comes into his own. Collins is in the pits. He's a lap down and in the pits. I'd love to go see what happened, but this battle is intriguing to me. I should have noticed that sooner, but I didn't. We go through turn 10 again. This time Hernandez didn't get balked. Here goes the move. Couldn't quite get there. He's going to have to do it on the last lap. Speaking of, it is white flag. Last lap, last chance to win it or wear it. And what I'm hearing is Collins spun through the S's and then just parked it. Okay then. Kyle Kraus still leading the way, but you can see James Watson right on his tail. We could see a final corner push here for Watson. He almost went for the move here in turn 6, thought better of it. As they battle through the S's for the final time. It's going to come down to the turn 11 hairpin. Hernandez still hasn't been able to get around Champo. But here we go through turn 10. I don't think Watson's close enough. Oh no, he's made a mistake. He's gotten into the dirt. And that is all she wrote for the battle for first. Coming through the hairpin for the final time at turn 11. Your winner of the Autism Awareness 70 here from the Sonoma Raceway is going to be the 7 of Kyle Kraus. Second place goes to James Watson. Here's the battle for third. And Hernandez is not going to get there. Chris Champo is going to finish in third with Jonathan Hernandez in fourth. Although he definitely put up one hell of a fight. Thomas Harmon in fifth. And he hasn't been able to shake Frank Isaacson here. Frank is only 0.7 of a second behind him. In fact, less than that. Comes down to a push into the final hairpin. Frank giving Thomas the hurry up through the hairpin. Oh, and then he gets too much wheel spin and hits the fence. I'm disappointed about that. Harmon coming home P5. Isaacson P6. And now it's all about Andrew Griesbaum, who was going to come home in 7th. There he is. And the last car who is going across the line will be the 13 of Travis Massia as he makes his way through the hairpin. He has finished P10, 2 laps down. Although that might become P9. Yeah, that's become P9. As Austin Collins is officially scored as 3 laps down. But there it is. There is our winner. And he is going to celebrate in style here, as this is a home track for most of these drivers. And he's going to start burning it down with style. Either that or he's just going to park it. Fair call. Hey, there's a screenshot. Alright, so with that, we're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we will have driver interviews. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Alright, guys, it's time for driver interviews now. And we're kicking things off with our third place getter here tonight. And he did an amazing job there at the end of the race to hold off a hard charging Jonathan Hernandez. Of course, it is the 92 of Mr. Chris Champeau. Chris, it's the start of the playoffs, and you started off very well here with a strong P3 to set yourself up right for the rest of the chase here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty stoked with P3. Going into this, I really didn't have very good expectations. I don't like Sonoma even a little bit. But when we got on pole, I thought, hey, maybe there was a shot we could try and win it. But I think it was evident in the first like 2 or 3 laps that I was just pushing way too hard early, heated the tires up, and they just never really came back to planet Earth. They were pretty rough. From about lap 5 on, it was a struggle to keep the car on the track. So lost 2 spots, but overall, I mean, I'm happy with P3. I think anytime, especially in the playoffs, you can get up on Thomas, you've done something right. So.
Well, that's definitely right, especially with Thomas having such a horrendous race, finishing down in 5th. But what was it like with these tyres? Because it looked like for most drivers there wasn't really much fall off, as most people putting in their fastest laps towards the end of the race there.
Yeah, it was weird. I'm not really sure. The car kept getting faster even though it was harder to drive, and it felt like the tires were falling off. The lap times weren't really falling off, which was interesting. Um, but like I said, I think if I would have eased into it a little bit more, just the 10% more tire that I may have had probably would have gone a long way over the course of the race. But when you burn them off in 2 laps and then you got 33 laps to go on tires that are overheated compared to everyone else. It's a tall order. But overall, I mean, apparently there's not much fall off, at least time wise. But it definitely felt like the car was falling apart.
All right, now let's look forward towards next week, Chris. Back onto the ovals, but we're going to be going to the old bumpy Rockingham Speedway. What's it feeling like for you as we head into Rockingham for round two of the playoffs?
I like Rockingham. I like Rockingham quite a bit. This car is a little funky at Rockingham because with the bumps, like you can easily kind of lose the back end a little bit, and then you just kind of steer to try and correct it. And with these, you do that, and there's a good chance you're going to lose the car. So, um, we'll see what the setup's like. I don't know if they've changed it with the update, but the setups at some of these like intermediates uh, have been really good for me lately. So hopefully we get lucky. Maybe play around with the brake settings a little bit and get a car like we had at Gateway would be rad. So hopefully we can do something like that and put together a good race. I think we can probably do a pretty good job there. I like Rockingham quite a bit.
All right, Chris. Before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Oh, I don't know. Uh, Kyle and Watson, I held both of them up pretty good. Kyle was on my bumper for about 10 laps, and I knew he was going to go around me. I just kind of hoping maybe he'd make a mistake and spin out or something, but that wasn't to be. And then I felt obligated to hold up Watson just because I held up Kyle for so long. So kudos to those guys for not getting mad at me. Either one of them could have easily just punted me.
All right, Chris. Thank you very much for coming out. Congratulations on coming home P3 in what sounded like was a fairly difficult race for you. And we look forward to seeing what you can do next week when we go to Rockingham.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, guys. That was Chris Champo, our third place getter here tonight, as our winner is running away from the waiting room. Uh, Coming up next will be our Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award winner. And unfortunately, a hard charger isn't here. Of course, it's our second place getter, James Watson. He gained 3 from where he started, and he put in a very hard charge there towards the end of the race, just about catching and passing the 7 of Carl Kraus, our winner. But unfortunately, he just couldn't quite get there, didn't quite have the legs, and just made too many little mistakes there towards the end of the race. But coming up next, we will have tonight's winner. And tonight's winner, in pretty emphatic style, is the 7 of Kyle Kraus. Kyle, come home with a big win to kick off the playoffs here at Sonoma. What was it like out there for you, mate?
Stressful. James was coming. I knew this was my best chance to really get a good start for the playoffs. So I was just really giving it everything I could, but also just trying to be safe enough with it to keep it on the track.
Now, what was the tire life like for you? Because we noticed a lot of people, yourself included, putting in some pretty quick laps there towards the end of the race.
Yeah, the tires were good. I mean, the car would be really fast at the end. They held up just fine. Um, the only the only real place for me that you could tell it was a little bit worn out was through the S's, especially the last one coming into the final hairpin. You had to slow down a little bit more there, but they held up pretty well.
Alright, and let's just talk about the race as a whole. You seem to just get out in front here tonight and just really control the race, running at your own pace for the majority of it. What was it like after you finally hit the lead and just started walking away from the rest of the field?
Well, there were a couple spots before I got the lead where I was faster than Chris, but I was just trying to be patient behind him because it seemed like he was falling off more. So I was trying to be patient, find my spot, see if maybe he'd mess up just a smidge enough to open the door for me to get in there without causing any troubles. I didn't want to wreck either of us since we're both going for the playoffs. But once I got it, I just tried to set down consistent laps, be as fast as I could because I knew James was super fast here, and he definitely showed it catching up there at the end.
Now, speaking of the playoffs, You're definitely in a great position here to reach the top four, especially with Thomas having such a horrible race here, finishing down in fifth. And for a lot of the race there, it looked like he was going to be finishing even lower than that.
Yeah, it sounded like he had a lot of trouble out there. It looked like he got in the dirt early on, so that was definitely helpful to be able to get a little bit of a gap going into these later races. I'm definitely going to need everything I can get.
Now, speaking of these later races coming up next week, we are going to be going to the old bumpy Rockingham Oval. What's the feeling like for you as we head back to North Carolina for the Rockingham Oval?
I love Rockingham. Looking forward to the race. Hopefully I can save my tires all right and be in contention for that one to get a top finish. I really enjoy that track, so I'm happy we're going there. And what's the later one? It's a 1.5 miler, right? Probably going to be terrible there, so I got to get everything I can next week.
All right. Well, before we let you go here tonight, Kyle, anyone you give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, of course, Corey. Thanks to you for broadcasting the race. Everyone that shows up this week and every other week to race. This is such a great league. Spread the word if anybody's looking for a fun place to come race with a good bunch of guys. It's Output Racing League.
All right. Thank you very much for coming out, Kyle. Congratulations on coming home with the win. And we look forward to seeing what we can do next week when we go to Rockingham.
Thanks, Corey.
All right, guys. That was tonight's winner, the Sevener Kyle Kraus. And you can tell that he was very happy about getting that win. But that is going to end things with us here for tonight. Thank you to everyone who stuck around through all of the technical difficulties that we had throughout this race. It was definitely one of the harder races as a commentator that I've had to personally go through. So hopefully by next week we have all of our shit sorted out, and that's my one for the broadcast, and we have a better overall experience. But until then, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator. We'll see you guys at Rockingham.